So, at Zebu Live this year, I sat through a talk that genuinely flipped my entire understanding of how the crypto market works. The title of the talk was, Should the Market Makers Go to Prison? Now, when I first saw that on the schedule, I thought, here we go. This guy's going to tear into the market makers. That title makes it sound like he's anti-market maker, anti-whale, anti-manipulation. All the usual stuff that floods social media. But what actually happened next completely shocked me. Because I'll be real with you. I was one of those people who used to go straight to X or TikTok whenever the market dumped and start saying things like, here we go again, the market makers are manipulating the charts, they're screwing retail, and they're hunting our stop losses. That was the narrative I was fed every single day online, and I bought into it. I thought market makers were the bad guys, the villains behind every single red candle. And maybe you've thought that too. Maybe you've seen the big crash and thought this has to be manipulation. Somebody's pulling the strings. But what I learned at Zebu Live and from the report that Low Tech has released is that most people in crypto have no idea what market makers actually do. And that included me. So let's start there. This talk was by the team at Low Tech, the same people who put out that massive 2025 market making report. And the guy gets on stage and he says, I'm not here to put market makers in prison. I'm here to explain why they're the reason you even have a market to trade in the first place. That instantly grabbed everybody's attention because the whole audience, myself included, was expecting some anti-market maker rant. Instead, he broke it down in the simplest possible terms. And I want to pass that on to you right now. A market maker is basically a professional liquidity provider. Their entire job is to make sure there's always a buyer when somebody wants to sell and a seller when somebody wants to buy. They place buy and sell orders on both sides of the order book consistently to keep the market moving smoothly. Without them, you'd have a huge gaps in between prices. The spreads would widen. You'd hit buy on your exchange and suddenly it'd be filled 2% higher than expected, or worse, not even filled at all. Market makers prevent that chaos. They bring stability and liquidity, which allows exchanges to function efficiently. Think of them like the oil in an engine. They're not the flashy part you see on the outside. They're what keeps everything running smoothly behind the scenes. And when there's no oil, everything seizes up. If you've ever tried trading a really low cap token and struggled to get in or out without moving the price by 5%, that's what a market without proper market makers looks like. It's clunky, volatile, and inefficient. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Matt, I get that. But what about when the market dumps 10% an hour? Surely that's the market makers too. And that's the bit I really learned from that speech. It's not as simple as market makers causing dumps. Here's what actually happens. Market makers respond to liquidity and order flow. If retail traders are over leveraged long, the books are unbalanced. The market maker's job is to rebalance that liquidity. And sometimes that means pushing the price into zones where they can fill the other side of those trades. That's not malicious manipulation. That's mechanical market function. If the majority of traders are using 25x or 50x leverage and everyone's stop losses are clustered around the same zone, the liquidity in that area is huge. So when the price dips into that zone, it triggers liquidations, fill orders, and allows the market maker to reset the balance. It looks like manipulation, and it's actually just liquidity doing what liquidity does. The reason this gets so misunderstood is because of social media. On X, on TikTok, even here on YouTube, negativity spreads faster than education. So when people lose money, they don't understand the mechanics. They look for somebody to blame. And the market makers have become the easiest scapegoat in crypto. But I need to be honest. Me too. I've literally made videos saying the market makers are at it again, guys. On TikTok alone, I can get anything between 2 million and 10 million views from my main account. On my backup account, I can do anything from 200,000 views, anything up to 1 million views a month. But I didn't understand what a market maker was. So when I put videos out saying the market makers have had it again, they're the bad guys. But imagine blaming a referee every time a football team loses. The ref's job is to enforce the rules of the game, not decide who wins. The market makers are the same. They're playing a system designed to keep markets functioning. Now let's go a level deeper, because this was one of the parts from Low Tech's report that blew my mind. Most crypto exchanges, even the big ones like Binance, OKX, Bybit, Blowfin, they all partner with external market making firms. These are professional trading firms that specialize in maintaining liquidity and volume. They're not random whales. They're registered entities, many of them regulated, providing a service that exchanges pay for. Why? Because an exchange with poor liquidity looks dead. If traders can't enter or exit positions easily, volume dries up and that exchange loses users. So the market makers are literally the backbone of exchange operations. The next question I asked was, okay, if they're not evil manipulators, how do they make money? And the answer is simple. They profit from spreads and volume. They're not trying to predict the direction of the market. They don't care if Bitcoin goes up or down. They care about how many times it moves back and forth. They make money from providing liquidity, not taking directional bets. That's why blaming them for dumps is like blaming your Uber driver for traffic. They're part of the system, not the cause of it. Now, there is a darker side. There are definitely some bad actors who abuse that position. Certain smaller exchanges or off-chain desks might exchange in predatory liquidation tactics or internal matching that gives the illusion of liquidity when it's actually just synthetic. And that's why education matters, because understanding the difference between a real market maker and a manipulative internal desk helps you choose the right exchange and helps regulators know where to focus. That's exactly what the low-tech report was trying to show. There's a massive difference between professional liquidity providers and the shadow operators that exploit market structure. So for me, that day at Zebu Live was a bit of an ego check. I've been in crypto for years, trading, studying charts, running the Wolfpack community, and yet I had a huge gap in my understanding. I realized that I'd been part of the echo chamber, repeating what everyone else said without ever stopping to learn the fundamentals. And the speaker even said something that stuck with me. The problem isn't the market makers. The problem is 90% of traders think they're the enemy, when in reality, they're the reason the market even exists. That hit hard, because it made me realize that blaming them was just another form of emotional trading, reacting instead of understanding. And that is exactly what I've been trying to push through the Wolfpack lately. Education over emotion. It's easy to let your feelings dictate the trades. It's harder to stop, learn the system, and adapt your strategy to how the market actually works. So let's bring this down to you watching this video. Understanding market makers changes how you interpret price action. It helps you spot the difference between a real breakout and a liquidity hunt. Instead of panicking when a candle spikes down, you can now ask yourself this: was that manipulation or just the market makers rebalancing liquidity? And that one mindset shift will make you stronger and calmer as a trader. Because when you understand the system, you stop fighting it and you start using it. The low-tech report actually revealed some wild statistics. For example, around 80% of daily crypto trading volume on major exchanges involves market-making activity. 80%. That doesn't mean it's manipulation. It means the liquidity is being managed to keep the market alive. It also showed that exchanges with better integrated market maker partnerships had significantly lower slippage and tighter spreads, which means better trading conditions for you and me. So ironically, the very thing that people think is rigging the market is what makes your trade smoother and cheaper. So here's the key takeaway. Market makers aren't the enemy. They're the infrastructure. They're the silent professionals ensuring that when you click buy, there's someone on the other side. Are there shady players in the industry? Of course there is. But the concept of market making itself, that's not manipulation. That's market health. So before you jump on social media the next time Bitcoin dips 5%, ask yourself this: is this really a whale dump? Or is it just the market doing its job? Balancing liquidity, filling orders, and keeping the system functioning. That one bit of awareness can stop you from making panic decisions. And over time, that's what's going to separate profitable traders from emotional ones. And honestly, I'm grateful for that speech at Zebu Live, because it reminded me that no matter how long you've been in this space, there's always something new to learn. Crypto's evolving faster than any financial system in history. And if we don't keep learning, we get left behind. So yeah, should the market makers go to prison? No. They should probably get a round of applause, because without them, none of us would have a market to trade in. If you enjoy learning like this, not just hype, but the why behind the moves, come check out the Wolfpack. It's the group that I built to bring traders together who want to learn, grow, and actually understand the market. You'll find the link in the description or at milkshakematty.com. If you found this useful, hit like, drop me a comment down below, and let me know that you've watched this to the end, and share it with somebody who still blames the market makers for every red candle. Because the truth is, once you understand them, you'll stop fearing them. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, the strength of the wolf is in the pack.